I am a new agent there at Realty One. I have been an agent now for, I don't know, haven't done the math, since 2007. I got my license in 2007. I actually started doing loans back in the crash, before the crash. You had to have your real estate license in order to do to be a loan officer. And so I got my real estate license because I was doing loans. So that's how I got started. And then as the market started to tank, I started doing a little bit of loans, a little bit of real estate, and then transferred over to real estate, did real estate part-time for several years, just, 6 or so transactions a year, working part-time in another job. And then one day had an epiphany that, hey, if I went full-time in real estate, I could probably make a lot more money than my part-time job if I put a little bit of effort into it, because I was doing basically just referral and no effort whatsoever. And so I started, I was at an independent brokerage at the time, decided if I was going to go full-time, I needed to have some support of a regular brokerage, which is how I ended up over at Keller Williams, which was where I was at previously. Took my business from about 6 transactions that year to 21 transactions and have continued to grow ever since. Got my broker's license, started training new agents, and really have just kind of taken off with my business. So that's a little bit of background about me, since I am a new agent there at Realty One. We made the move over, both Shannon and I, we work together as a team. If you've met Shannon, she's there in town. And we do it quite well. We enjoy working together. And I enjoy this aspect of real estate. I enjoy teaching new and experienced agents and just helping them push their businesses forward. I think it's a part of the industry that a lot of people overlook and that a lot of brokerages don't offer. So I'm super excited that Realty One Group has the RevUp program, and that I get the opportunity to help kind of propel the Fox Group further ahead with this RevUp series, and just kind of overhauling the training in general. Trying to just be a resource for all the new agents and experienced agents as far as that goes. That you can come to and kind of get help on, whether it's what do I do to get started? How do I push my business forward? I need help with forms, whatever it would be. I just would like to be a resource for you guys and know that I'm available for you if you need anything. Sound good? As we go through this, please feel free to interrupt me at any time. Just unmute yourself, holler at me, say, hey, I have a question, or can you clarify, or what did you mean? Totally okay. I don't expect, I don't treat it as rude if you interrupt me. That's way easier than me keeping my eyes on the screen and seeing who has a hand up or has a question. So please interrupt me. I'll try to stop every once in a while and ask if you have any questions. This first session of RevUp has a lot of stuff in it. So we kind of do a surface glide over the top of it. And again, I want to be a resource for you. So I'll show you where you can kind of deep dive into some of these topics a little bit deeper as well. So I don't eat up all of your time today, but that you can dig in and get some more details. And then as we progress over time and move through this, we may choose to break this first one up into 2 or 3 sessions so that we can dig a little deeper into some of the topics that are covered here. Does that sound good to everybody? All right. Fabulous. All right, so this is the model 1, which is the introduction to RevUp. We cover the GPS, which is the goals planning systems. We talk about lead gen a little bit. We're going to talk about time blocking, business planning, setting yourself up for success as a business owner, not an independent contractor. Okay, so that's kind of our topics for today. We're going to talk about the importance of a positive mindset. We're going to go through the summary of tools that you might use. Thinking like a business owner, let's move from independent contractor to actual business owner. As newer agents or those that are restarting, this is a great time to really set yourself up for success and set yourself up to move yourself in that direction. We will talk about goals and SMART goals, how to run your finances as an agent, time blocking, as I mentioned before, accountability, various types of prospecting, which would be lead generation, scripts, dialogues, talking about our schedules, lead follow-up, and then utilizing the GPS tool. All right. So when we dig into real estate, one of the most important things is your mindset. Okay. It's a really hard to hear the word no over and over and over again. And unfortunately, in the real estate or any industry where you're a business owner, you hear the word no on a regular basis. And so it's important to set your mind right and get yourself in a positive mindset on a daily basis, and know how to identify when you're kind of sinking into a funk and how to get yourself out of that. Okay. So you are a independent contractor. We're going to talk about moving you into a business owner mindset, which means that you have to take the initiative to get up on a daily basis, to get your day started, to plan your day accordingly, to plan your week. Nobody's going to tell you what to do and how to show up. Okay. So does everybody have a calendar? Raise your hand if you have a calendar. Yes. All right. Who has a digital calendar? And who has a paper? What?
Like on our phones?
Like on your phone, computer, Google Calendars, iCalendar, whatever it might be, a digital calendar.
I have both. Okay.
All of the above.
And then who has a paper calendar?
I do, Susanna.
Fabulous. I also love a paper calendar. So just so you know, I'm a big proponent of the paper calendar, especially when you're getting started, because I think there's something to visually and tangibly being able to touch calendar, see what's on it. I recommend using a pencil so you can erase and replace. So we'll talk about how to set your day up for success a little bit later today, but just know that's part of your positive mindset, setting it up for success. Now, as part of that as well, remember I talked about like seeing when you're getting in a funk and being able to get yourself out of a funk. You guys need to have activities outside of real estate. Who has activities outside of real estate that they enjoy doing? Anybody? What are some of those activities that you enjoy doing?
Horseback riding.
Horseback riding.
Working on cars.
Cars.
Going on dates with my husband.
Trips. What did you say, Melanie?
Hiking.
Hiking. Okay. I need you guys to make sure that you prioritize those things over real estate. Okay. You need to have fun and you need to do things that you enjoy in order to stay the course and stay positive and be able to plug ahead in this game called real estate. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes? Don't lose sight of that. All right. As part of that work ethic, getting up on a daily basis, you must stick to your schedule. So again, we'll talk a little bit about time blocking later on in this session and how to adhere to that calendar and live with a mindset of if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. And if you remove something, you've got to replace it someplace else. So we'll talk about those ideas and how to set your mind to make sure you do that so you can stick to your schedule. You need to be consistent. Does everybody know what the number one job is in your real estate career? What is the number one thing that will drive your business forward?
Discipline.
Discipline is important, but what is the number one task?
Consistency.
Consistency in what though?
Lead generation.
Lead gen.
Lead gen. Lead generation is your number one thing that you need to take hold of and make sure you do on a very consistent basis. How many people have lead gen on their calendar right now? There's like a half a hand. George's got a half a hand. Okay, so oh, he's got two hands now. All right, so we're going to need to make sure we get that on our calendar and make that our priority. So again, we'll dive into that a little bit longer, but we need to be consistent in our work ethic. We need to be diligent, hardworking, and self-disciplined, which we already kind of mentioned that you're in charge. Nobody's going to come to your house and be like, hey, you know, Maciel, I need you to get out of bed and start working today. Or I need you to, you know, put the video games down and do some lead gen. You're in charge of your own business. As I mentioned before, excuse me, you're going to hear no a lot in this business, and that's okay. Every no gets you closer to a yes. So just remember that. you need to remember to just have perseverance, to be patient and just push on. You're going to be committed and you're going to be accountable. Okay. It helps to have friends and accountability partners in this business. Somebody that's going to help push you ahead when you don't feel like working. Somebody that's going to help you hold yourself accountable to your goals and where you want to go. And what I want to recommend is if you look around, excuse me, I may have to go get some water. This other drink is not working. As you look around on the Zoom chat, see who else is in here. See who else is in the same place in their business that you are. Is there somebody else that's a new agent? Is there somebody else who's starting over? Is there somebody else that's just looking to propel their business forward? Find an accountability partner that's in the same place as you, that has very similar goals as you, that you guys can help push each other forward. Okay, have somebody that you're going to check in with on a daily, a weekly, whatever that is that you guys agree to, that's going to check in with you and say, hey, Anastasia, did you do your lead gen this week? How many hours did you do? How many contacts did you make? How many appointments did you set? Right? Have somebody that's going to push you forward. Have somebody that's going to be like, hey, Lonnie, did you go door? You said you were going to door knock today. Are you door knocking right now? Right? Have somebody in your court that's going to do that and be that for somebody else, that you guys can help push yourself forward. Having an accountability partner is going to be one of the main ways that you're going to push yourself forward and be successful. Does anybody have questions about an accountability partner?
Amy, I'll say that Monday at 5 o'clock, we're doing lead gen. It started with our Zillow team, but it's open to everyone.
Okay, so Monday's 5 o'clock. So if you guys are free on Mondays at 5 o'clock, pencil it into your calendar right now to set that time aside for lead gen. Ed, how long does that normally go?
Last week we did, the week before Thanksgiving, 1 hour. And during that time, we set 14 appointments, and we figured the math was something like $222,000 in appointments, or, in transactions, if that was converted. Very
In
nice.
appointments, yeah, absolutely. And if you guys are wondering, well, what am I going to do at 5 o'clock on Monday? If I show up to that, who would I call? We're going to talk about that, but you're going to dive into your database would be your number one option. Even if you're just calling them up and saying, hey, Carly, I'm just calling you today to check in. How are things going? Are you still working at Genentech? Right? We can just call and check in and start having conversations and building relationships. I know, a lot of us are not good. Maybe not a lot of us. I am not good at making phone calls and following up with people. It's just not something I do. I don't have conversations with people on a daily basis. So when you scroll through my phone, a lot of those people I probably haven't talked to in weeks, months, maybe since before I moved, who knows? So it's been a while. And so calling somebody up and being like, hey, I'm a real estate agent, and do you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate might be really scary. So being able to call somebody up and just saying, hey, how is everything going? I know it's been a while. I'm sorry I haven't been in touch. How are you doing? It's okay to make calls like that. And oftentimes it opens it up. Like if I'm like, hey, are you still working at Genentech? And they're like, yeah, I am. What are you doing now? Then it opens up that conversation to, I'm a real estate agent now. Right? So it's just building that relationship. So make sure you pencil that in and show up. It's not as scary as it sounds. Okay. All right. Positive mindset, right? We've talked about getting out of bed, having an accountability partner. How you talk to yourself, how your brain talks to yourself has a lot to do with you moving forward and being successful. And so it's really important that when you're getting ready to make those phone calls next Monday night and you're like, man, nobody's going to want to talk to me, or this is so scary, be like, people want to talk to me. People know me. We're friends. They like me. This is going to be fun, right? Changing the way in which you think about it, in which your brain processes the activity, leads to a different outcome. So positive self-talk, positive mindset, stating daily affirmations, things that where your areas that you're struggling, right? Maybe it doesn't even have anything to do with business. Maybe it has to do with personal. Maybe you're just like, man, I really need to exist on a budget and only spend the money that I bring in. And so maybe your affirmation at the beginning of the day is, I'm only going to buy the things that I really need so that my savings account can grow. Right? Like, it doesn't have to be business related. It might be personal, or it might be like, I'm going to talk to 10 people today and they're going to be excited to hear about me and my real estate career. Right? If we are working with clients and we're going to go show them some properties, instead of being like, oh, here we go, we're going to go open 3 more doors and this guy's not going to like any of them. Just be like, hey, I'm so excited I get to go show properties again today. I bet one of these is going to be the winning property and we're going to be writing an offer. Right? Back, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, when it was 20 offers on every property, it was, I'm going to write this offer and we're going to get this offer accepted, instead of, man, I don't even know why we're writing this. This is pointless, right? It's all in how you communicate and speak it and talk it out. And if you're not a believer in that, I truly am a believer that what you speak comes into an existence. And I challenge you that if you aren't a believer in that, that you set some things and you start doing that, and that you track the outcomes of those items, because I believe that it makes a difference. Okay. We want to make sure that we're taking personal responsibility for where we are at 100% of the time.
I had someone the
Okay.
other day say, I have to write an offer. And it was like, no, you get to,
You get to
you
write
have to
an
write an
offer,
offer.
right? If you have to write an offer, go get a new job, do something else. If that's how you feel about doing the things that are going to make you money in this job and helping people get into homes and change their lives, and it's a have to instead of a get to, like, let's either change the way we're thinking or find something else that excites us. Check in with yourself often. Are your thoughts positive or negative? Right? Focus on what you want and be deliberate and intentional. This is one of those things that I recommend. I'm not an artsy person. Okay. Art is not my forte. My daughter, Kaylin, she's very artsy. I am not, but I sat down 5 years ago and I did a vision board, and I'm not one of those, give me 3D magazines so I can cut things out of magazines and glue them to paper. That's not me either. So I got online and I went to Canva and I made a poster and I saved things from other websites, places I wanted to go, things I wanted to do. Our income was really low at the time. So just having like a new dishwasher was really exciting to me. So like a dishwasher went on a vision board. So I made a vision board. I made a digital copy of it. That digital copy I then sent over to Costco at the time, and they printed it up for me on a poster size piece of paper for like $10. I hung that in my office. The nice thing about the digital version is, number one, it looked a little cleaner than the magazine version. So those kind of stressed me out a little bit. Not saying that they're wrong. If that's your thing, go do it. But I was able to save it to my desktop of my computer and my phone of all the things that I wanted to accomplish that year. Whether it was, I think there was a dishwasher on there. I think a trip to Hawaii was on there. I was trying to think what else was on that vision board. I'm sure I still have a copy of it someplace. I'll have to look for a copy of it. But there was a bunch of things on there, and I just kept it in front of me all the time. So on those times that I got my 50th no, and I was feeling a little bit discouraged, I knew that, hey, I'm working hard because I just don't want to hand wash dishes anymore. I lived in Winters at the time. Hand washing dishes in Winters is really common. A lot of those houses don't have dishwashers for whatever reason. So I just wanted a dishwasher, right? Or I just wanted to go on vacation someplace cool, instead of like, not that camping's not cool, but getting out and about is kind of fun every once in a while. So I kept those things in the forefront, which kept me pushing forward. In the morning when I got up, I was, man, I really want to go on vacation. Who am I going to talk to today that's going to help me go on vacation? So make yourself a vision board, keep it front of mind, keep it on the forefront, hang it up where you're going to work, put it in your car, wherever that is that you're doing business, put it there, and it's amazing at the end of the year what comes to fruition and what actually happens just by keeping it and plugging away and chipping away at the things that are important to you. Does anybody else do vision boards? Couple hands up. You never know, we may need to do like a vision board party at the office or something, where we can all come together. If you like magazines, we can bring magazines and scissors and glue, or if you like the digital version, you can bring your computer. There's no wrong or right way to do it. Okay, that's kind of staying focused on what you want, focused on the goal, checking in with yourself, and kind of being deliberate and intentional all kind of falls under that. You want to go into this business with a client first mentality. You always want to do what's right for the clients 100% of the time. And if that means that you walk into a listing appointment and you hear what they have to say and what their goals are and what they're wanting to accomplish, and you say, I'm not sure now is the right time for you to sell, that's okay. Or I've talked to people out of writing offers on homes before, because when we walked through the home, I could tell that wasn't the house. I could tell that wasn't the one, and they were just settling. And so it's having those conversations of, is this really the home that you want to live in for the next 3 to 5 years? Is this the one? Because it doesn't seem like it checks very many boxes off your list, and I don't mind continuing to look. And they were wanting to write an offer because they felt guilty because I was dragging them out to see so many properties, or technically they were dragging me out to see so many properties, but we just weren't finding quite the right niche of what they were looking for. So it's okay to have those conversations with clients. It actually builds the relationship stronger. So we always want to do the right thing. It's not about the paycheck at the end. It's about the success with your clients. The money will come. I promise 100% every time. If you do right by your clients, the money will come.
Having that
Sorry.
faith or just trusting in the abundant mentality.
Yep,
that comes from
absolutely.
service.
Absolutely. And it's hard. Like you said, it's hard, especially when you're a new agent and you're struggling. You don't have a lot of money coming in. It's hard to keep that in focus and keep that mindset. But that's really how you want to approach each and every client, each and every situation. You always want to do what's best for them. Here are some do's and don'ts for the real estate industry. And as you start your business, number one, you always want to show confidence. You have the backing of your mentors, of Ed, of myself. So if there's something you don't know, you don't have to be like, oh, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. No, just be like, hey, let me get back to you with the answer for that question. I just want to double check a couple things, right? Go into it with confidence. You know, you can come back and ask somebody for the answer if there's something you're not sure of. Don't hand out bad information. Get the right answer and then go back to your clients and have that be okay. And don't worry about being like, hey, let me make sure I've got the full answer for you on that before I answer that question. It's okay to say that. Don't say, I don't know. Just say, let me get back to you. Okay. Show concern about what your client wants, needs, and desires, right? That goes back to doing what's best for the client. Really pay attention when we dig into what you're going to do in the buyer consultation. You guys had a class yesterday on that as well, if you attended, but you really want to dig into what are their wants, needs, and desires, or why is the seller selling a home? What is their goal? What are they looking to accomplish? And really digging into that so that you can keep your clients focused on what they're looking to achieve and what they're wanting to do as far as the buying and selling process, because that will help you have a successful sale or a purchase, and it will help you keep their needs first. It ultimately, if you pay attention like to a buyer's needs on what they're looking for in a home, it will help you to not needlessly go out and show a bunch of properties that don't match what they're looking for, right? Save everybody time, energy, and effort. Build rapport and find common interest, right? Relationship. It's all about relationship in the real estate industry. It's about building those relationships, getting to know your clients, especially if you're on like the Zillow leads, or you've got internet leads coming in, people that you don't know, you're outside of your sphere of influence, whether you're doing open houses or whatnot. Being able to build rapport, find common interest, and really build that relationship with those people you don't know will help make them clients for life. and help them not, like if you've got somebody that came from an open house, by building that rapport, finding common ground, it's going to cause them to call you when they want to go see a property instead of going through that next open house and just attaching to that other agent instead, right? The agent of the moment. They will think, oh my gosh, I had such a good conversation with George. I think I'd like him to show me this property, or I'd like to write the offer with him because I feel really comfortable with him. So it's about building that rapport. You want to make sure you maintain your professionalism under stress. Okay. You should think of yourself as kind of like the chaos coordinator, right? There's a lot of things that go on in real estate transactions. There's a lot of really bad agents out there that you're going to have to deal with, and that's okay. We can do that, but we don't want our clients to experience that. We want them to experience there was a problem and here's 5 solutions that we can go with to fix it, right? We want to come up with solutions. We don't want to badmouth other agents. We don't want to badmouth other people. We don't want to blame everybody else. We want to maintain that professionalism. Even when it gets stressful, we want to just take some deep breaths and come at it with a professional mentality. Does that make sense to everybody? I think that's one of the hardest things to do, because we do build rapport and relationship with these clients, and we're in the middle of something. And then, an agent tells us one thing, and then we tell our clients that, and then they come back and do something else. And now we've got to go back and be like, the other agent totally screwed us over. No, that's not how we want to handle it. Okay. We want to be professional. It's hard to do that because you feel like you've kind of made this relationship with these clients, or a lot of these people come from your sphere of influence. Be flexible, be ready to learn new techniques and technology. There was one time I sat in, I was probably been in the industry, like, I don't know, 11 or 12 years at the time. And then we were doing a berries class, and I was like, well, I don't have anything better to do, so I guess I'll go to berries. What more can I learn with berries? I've been using it for so long. And I was amazed at the number of tips and tricks and things that I picked up from this simple berries class. Right? So you're never been in the business too long to learn new techniques, to learn new technology, to try new things. You never know what you might pick up. Dress professional and be professional. I'm going to say be professional and dress professional, but professional may look different to each one of you. Professional to somebody as far as dressing, maybe a suit and tie. Professional to somebody else, maybe jeans and a blazer. Professional to me is I am like the hoodie agent. You can ask anybody who knows me. I have a hoodie on about 24/7. When I first started doing real estate, when I moved into real estate full time, I thought, oh, I need to dress up and look nicer. So I got all these nice clothes. And then I realized a couple of years down the road that there's nothing wrong with being me. I might eliminate some opportunities for clients because I'm not in a suit or super nice professional clothes, but I might also open the opportunity for other clients that feel more comfortable with who I am on a regular basis, wearing jeans and a sweatshirt, right? So I don't recommend showing up in like sweatshirts and tattered clothes, but I do recommend that you decide who you are, and it's okay to be you. Okay. Now I don't wear my holy sweatshirts. I wear my nicer sweatshirts when I show up to clients, or like the first time I meet them, I might not even wear a sweatshirt. Might save that for the second time. So until I get to know them a little bit better. I did get a referral one time, and our office manager was like, Amy, I have a referral for you. And their price range is up to $1 million. And this was back like 5 years ago when, $1 million was actually a really high price range. Like the median price range was probably like 350, 400. And she goes, I need you to dress a little nicer for them though. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I probably would have anyways, but okay. So I wore nice clothes. We're really good friends. I've actually bought and sold now multiple properties for them. But there was one time, it was like the second time I went to show them properties. We were out in the Berryessa Highlands, and I was in like a skirt and nice like flat shoes showing properties out there. And I'm like, we were looking at a house on the side of the hill, and I was like, a lot of these houses out here have foundation issues. So I think we should walk around the foundation of this property and just take a peek at it before we write an offer on it. And they were like, okay. So I was down there in my skirt and my flats. They still talk about it today. on this hillside that was like this, trying to like scoot around this house to check out the foundation. And I created a client for life because they're like, I can't believe you did that in those clothes. And after that, I started dressing appropriately for the houses I was showing, because that totally wasn't appropriate. So dress appropriately. If you're going to go show country properties, wear boots, right? So that you can go trek across all 5 acres of the property to show them the whole thing and not worry about stickers or bugs in your shoes or whatever might happen. If it's pouring down rain, dress appropriately. Make sense to everybody? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Firsthand experience, right?
Right. Speak and write professionally. You're judged by how you communicate, both written and verbal. So double check those text messages before you hit send, because we know autocorrect likes to change our messages up right before we hit that send button, even though it looked right originally. So double check it, read through it a second time, read through those emails. When you get those really steamy situations that you're really upset, like write the email, delete it, go back and write it a second time, or let it sit there until the morning and then go over it again. Totally okay. Don't send anything late at night. If it's outside of business hours, just wait until the morning. Read through it again and then resend it. Make sure that you dotted your I's and crossed your T's, because language looks different at 11:30 at night than it does at 8:30 in the morning. Okay. So just be careful with that. And also just a little reminder that social media is going to be a huge part of your business and who you are, and people are going to look you up on social media. So make sure what you're portraying on your social media sites is what you want your clients looking at. And I'm not going to tell you one way or the other what you should or shouldn't do, because everybody has a different client profile that they're going after. But just make sure that that's what you want your clients looking at. Make sure that you communicate your work hours, right? When are you going to answer phone calls? When can people expect responses on emails? Set those expectations ahead of time. Please do not work 24/7. Start it right, fix it now, do whatever it takes. Set a schedule and stick with it. Now, does that mean there can't be exceptions to the schedule? Absolutely not. You can always make exceptions. If you're like, man, my business hours are going to be from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then you've got that client that wants to go see properties at 7 p.m. Totally okay. Go show properties at 7 p.m., but make sure it doesn't interfere with your family or events or things that you had scheduled. So just make sure that they know that they want to go see properties on the weekend or in the evenings, that we plan that ahead of time, that it's not a call at 6 o'clock in the evening to go see properties at 7 o'clock that night. Okay, so set those expectations. It's okay to do that. It's okay to not be at everybody's beck and call 24/7. Turn your phone, as if you've got an iPhone, it has like a sleep thing or a do not disturb that you can set up where at a certain time it automatically goes into that and it stops ringing. Please don't let your phone ring and vibrate all night long. Okay, if somebody sends you an email, it's probably not something that has to be answered immediately. It can be answered the next day. So stop checking your email at 10 o'clock at night. Okay, I know that sounds scary for a lot of you. Like, oh, are you sure we can do that? You can do that, I promise. It's going to be okay. There's nothing that happens at 10 o'clock at night that can't be fixed at 9 o'clock in the morning. There is nothing that you're going to do at 10 o'clock at night that's going to change the outcome of anything. Okay. So communicate that in that time frame. If you're in your work hours, make sure you're responding in a timely manner. Set up regular times as we talk about your calendar and time blocking. Set up breaks in there to make sure you're checking your voicemails and checking your emails so that you can respond. Set up that time in your calendar to give you time to do that. Make sure your vehicle is in top condition. Does that mean you have to go buy a new vehicle? No, it doesn't. Just make sure your vehicle is going to get you from spot A to spot B. You want to be able to go show properties without breaking down in the middle. So make sure it's in top condition, maintain it, maintenance. You may need to go to the service station. Go check out, Bradley likes to work on cars. So maybe make a deal with him, pay him some money on the side to fix your car for you so that you can keep it going in the right direction. And then, every once in a while, take it through like the car wash and make it clean. Or like, if you're going to take customers in your car, which I don't recommend, like vacuum it out every once in a while to get like the Cheerios and the tater tots out of the seat cushions, okay? Use a sense of humor, have fun. Okay, this is a fun business, it's a fun job. It can be a little stressful at times. It can be a little irritating at times, but overall it's fun. So just approach everything with a sense of humor and a light heart so that it doesn't become overwhelming. Commit to excellence. Make sure that everything you do, you're going to do to the best of your ability. What might be excellent today for you may be different than what's excellent 3 years from now after you've been in the business for a while, and that's okay. It's going to change and evolve over time, but decide what that looks like for you right now. And I do recommend looking at, as we go through this and talk about the buyer transactions and listing transactions, let's talk about setting up systems and processes now so that when you get busier and you have 4 or 5 or 6 clients at a time, that you can offer amazing customer service each and every time because you already have those systems and processes set up and ready to go when we just have 1 client. Okay. Be persistent. We want to make sure that we build trust with our clients, right? We want to be, have integrity and be truthful to build that trust. We want to make sure we be positive, right? So we always want to try to add I would call it like the Disneyland spin on everything, right? Disney's all about saying yes, yes, yes. But sometimes they say yes in a way that actually like redirects you to the thing that they want you to do. That's okay too, but we want to be positive about it. We want to come at each situation and each issue with a solution in hand, ready to present to our clients so that it's not just doomsday. Associate with people that are doing more than you. Connect up with those agents that are selling 20 transactions a year, 30 transactions, 50 transactions. See what they're doing. Watch them, see their habits and behaviors, right? Mirror and match those people. So associate with those people as well. We want to make sure that you believe in yourself, your company, and your tools. Realty One Group has so many tools available to us that we can use in order to be successful in our business. And most of them you don't have to pay for. Most of them are totally free, which is fabulous because we want to make sure we lead with revenue. So just believe in what we have and what we have to offer our clients. We already talked about being honest, listen to what the client has to say. Make sure you take a lot of notes, write things down, and just show your client that you can and will get the job done. Any questions about what we should do? The do list, the don't list. Don't put down the competition, right? We talked about that. Don't talk down other agencies. Don't talk down to other agents, other buyers, sellers. Don't talk them down. Don't criticize your clients, right? They're trying to figure this out as well. So instead of criticizing your client, let's help educate our client. Let's help show them some options, give them the ability to kind of make choices and help direct them in the right way. Don't lose your cool. It's okay to take timeouts. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to say, hey, can I call you back in 10 minutes? And hang up the phone and take some deep breaths. It's okay. It's not okay to lose your cool. Okay. It's not okay to make excuses or place the blame on other people. Take responsibility. You know, like I said, don't give out misinformation. Just be like, hey, let me get back to you with the answer to that question. Don't talk to a client with a negative tone, right? This comes back to being positive. We always want to be positive, not just with ourselves, but with our clients. Don't let outside influences control you. We don't have control over anything but who? Ourselves, right? So we can control us. We can't control anything else. So try not to let those outside influences control you. Don't sell desperate. That's that money breath. Don't walk around with money breath. It'll come, I promise, not money breath, but the success and the income will come as we help our clients and we do right by them. Don't ask questions that they can answer no to. Okay, and what I mean by that is let's ask open-ended questions. Instead of saying, did you like that house? Say, what features did you like about that house? right? If we ask, did they like that house? It's yes or no. We got no information from that. If they say no, then it becomes another question. So if we say, hey, what did you like about that property? Or what did you not like about that property, right? It helps us to glean more information so that we can narrow their search down and really find the properties that are going to match their criteria. Right? If instead of saying, do you want to write an offer on this property? Be like, if you were going to write an offer on this property, what would you want to offer? Right? So there's different ways to ask questions that don't result in a yes or no answer. So try to avoid those close-ended questions. Don't assume, always gain clarification. Also keep in mind with that don't assume the other agent on the other side is trying to screw you over. They're trying to do what's best for their client, or they're trying to do what their client wants them to do. And sometimes it doesn't come across very well. So don't ever assume, always seek to find what they're looking to accomplish. And, if you get an offer from somebody and they, offered 20,000 below asking and asked for 10,000 in closing costs, it may be coming back to them and being like, hey, this is a little lower than my seller wants to go. What's more important to your client? Is it more important to get a closing cost credit, or is the price most important to them? Right? Find stuff out so that you can help respond in a way that's going to get an offer and create a win-win situation. Focus on what you have done, the skills and talents that you have, and how that's going to meet your client's needs. And then sell that you're great, and always sell why you're great. So know what you have to offer your clients, and never feel like you're not good enough because you're a new agent. You have a lot to offer. Okay?
Can I hit on that for a second?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, what does a new agent have that a seasoned or busy agent doesn't have?
Less clients, so we have more time for them.
More time. I mean, you can give more focused attention, really look at and care for their needs on there. I mean, there's things that I did earlier on when I first started that I just don't have the time or capacity right now to do that. I think that's probably true for a lot of people that are been in the business for a while. And so that's where I would sell that fact. I'm going to take great care of you all the way through. And I don't want just this one transaction. I want all of them. So that's kind of the thought process that I've always taken, but I didn't have that up front.
Absolutely. All right, to help us stay positive, there's things that you can do to stay positive, especially if you tend to lean more to the pessimistic or negative side of things. You can listen to positive, powerful audiobooks, CDs, and podcasts. If you want some recommendations, we can make those. And I believe there's some recommendations in the One Zone website. There's some books and stuff that they recommend. Experience the feelings of victory, accomplishments, and elations. And sometimes it's good just to write those down. At the end of the day, just write down your wins for the day. What went well? What worked right? Right? And just keep those in a list on your desk or hanging up on the wall so that you can focus on those things that you did successfully. Sit comfortably and run your perfect outcome video in your head. Right? What does this look like? What do I envision happening when I write this offer? Visualize it. Just sit down, close your eyes, visualize what success looks like at the end of that situation. Consider 10 to 20 minutes of daily meditation or prayer. It doesn't have to be like a religious thing. It can just be just sitting in the quiet and the solitude and just getting your brain focused on the right things. Create a vision, goal board, or notebook. We talked about this. You can include personal as well as business goals. Use words and pictures. You can use magazines or digital. Super important. I would highly recommend that everybody does that. Here's those affirmations we talked about earlier. As an exercise between now and next week, I would like everybody to come to class with one positive affirmation that you've created. Okay. They're going to be a powerful way to improve your mindset. They're most effective in the first person, like right? I am going to, not Heather will or she will. You want to say I or me. Present tense and as if they already happened. Right? I am a successful real estate agent and people will use me to buy their, or people use me to buy their homes. Right? So first person, present tense, and as if they already happened. Bring an affirmation to class with you next week. Here's a couple. I know my value and only work with realistic, qualified, and motivated buyers and sellers. Only work with, does that mean we can pick and choose who we work with? Absolutely. You don't have to work with the jerks. Please don't work with people that tear you down and make you feel bad about yourself on a daily basis. I always put my clients' best interests first. I do the right thing by them, knowing it will come back to me tenfold. Absolutely, right? Great affirmations. If you, one of the great things about affirmations too is like most people have a really big bathroom mirror, especially if you've got like a newer like house in Vacaville or Fairfield and it's in a subdivision. Most of your mirrors are really big. Mine's like this big. I need a bigger mirror in my bathroom because I can't even hardly see my face, but we won't talk about that. Anyways, take your affirmation and write it on your mirror so that you see it every morning when you're getting ready, and then start saying it to yourself. Pick one affirmation a week and put it on that mirror. I promise you, your mindset will change. Okay. All right. Setting
Even Amy,
yeah.
one thing that I've done is on my computer, I have like a little sticky that says smile. So
Absolutely.
when I'm on the phone, I do this cheesy ass grin, like over exaggerate my smile, and that allows me to be, when I'm on the phone, to communicate that smile.
Absolutely. People can hear whether you're smiling or not when you're on the phone with them. I know you're like, Amy, that's silly. No, it's not. They can. There's a difference in your voice and your tonality and everything when you're smiling. So Ed is absolutely correct. Huge smile on your face when you go to pick up those phones. I promise it'll sound different and your mindset will be different as well. Setting the stage for success. What do you need to be successful in this business? I do recommend a computer. I highly recommend the laptop because it's portable and you can take it with you. Do you need a MacBook? No. Can you get a Chromebook? Absolutely. Like most of our stuff, you can do everything you need to do in the Google suite of documents. I can't think of what Google Word is called. I'm drawing a blank, but you got Sheets and anybody? What's it called? What's Google Word called?
Documents.
Docs, Google Docs. Thank you. I was like, what is that? It's got a drive. I save everything to my Google Drive, and then it doesn't matter what computer I open up, I can pull up my Google Drive and access my documents anywhere. So it doesn't matter what the brand is, what the style is. You don't got to go in debt to get a computer, but do make sure you have a computer so you can be successful. I don't think that you need to have a tablet or a something like that in order to be successful. Maybe like in year 2 or 3 of business, you're being really good. Then you might do that so that people can sign in digitally on your tablet when they come to your open houses or whatnot. But I think as long as you've got like a tablet or a laptop that you can take with you, like to the office or home or wherever on whatever might happen, I think that will lead to success. Make sure you have a finance app on your phone. Most of the title companies have these where you can pull up like a calculator, figure out, if we're writing an offer and they're going to put 20% down, what does that make that loan amount? Because we do have to put that in the contract. So make sure you've got on your computer or your phone some sort of app, and one that's going to calculate an estimated payment might be helpful as well. So if somebody says, hey, what's my payment going to be? You don't have to get the lender on the phone. You can be like, hey, it's going to be approximately this. Right. And we do always want to say approximately this because we don't know what their interest rate is going to be or anything. So we want to kind of judge and be cautious with that. A smartphone with an excellent camera or an excellent camera. I think as long as you've got a phone, you're good. And here's where I'm going to say my little plug of If you're just getting started, I recommend having a separate phone number for business. Google voice number, get something, have something that can separate your business and personal lives. So when it's 6 o'clock and it's the end of your business day, you can still have your phone with you and shut down everything else. And it's okay. And it's not scary or tempting to look at your phone to see who's calling because it might be a client. You know, it's going to be somebody personal. Okay, so you're not tempted to do business at 8 o'clock at night. So I do recommend having a separate business phone number. Okay, it's the one thing that I wish I would have done getting started in this business. And I've been tempted to get a second phone now for my personal stuff because everybody's too tied into this phone number that I can't switch it at this point. Because it's hard to shut off business and it's hard not to be like, oh, why did that client call me? It's 7:30 at night. What did they need? And it's hard not to answer it or not to want to listen to that voicemail message or not read that text message. So I do recommend a separate phone number. There's free options for that. As far as a camera, I don't think you need an excellent camera. The Realty One has a little app that you can use that helps make your pictures beautiful, but I do recommend, if nothing else, hire a professional photographer for your listings. Please, please, please hear me on that. You are not a professional photographer. Hire somebody that does house pictures on a daily basis because they've just got an eye for it and you don't have to worry about that. Some things are worth outsourcing and listing photos are one of those. Business cards, make sure you have business cards. Okay, but please make sure that you make it your goal if you're having a conversation with somebody about real estate, that your first response isn't, here's my business card. Please get their information first. Your goal is to collect their information. In fact, it's even better to say, oh man, I actually don't have any business cards on me today. Can I get your number and I'll shoot you over all my information? Okay, have business cards, but don't make that your first response is just to hand business cards because then we're not getting their information. It makes it really hard to call and follow up with people we don't have information on. Supply of personal signs. Now, our Realty One Group Fox does have some generic for sale signs that we can use, but go get a couple of sign writers. They're like 10, 15, 30 bucks a piece. Simcoe, wherever in town will make you a professional looking sign writer that has your name and call for information or whatever, or text for information with your phone number on it. So get a couple of those so that you're ready, that when you have a listing, you've got that writer ready to go. Okay, because we do want to collect leads from listings. Make sure you've got at least one lockbox and you know how to operate your Supra key. Okay, make sure you know how to get into those lockboxes. It can feel a little tricky and scary the first couple of times, so practice. Ask your mentor, ask Ed, ask one of the agents in the office that's been around for a while. Go into the office, be like, hey, can you show me how to use a lockbox and can I practice a couple times on one of yours? Totally okay to do that. Please do that. If you've got an appointment to go show properties and you've never operated the lockbox, please go buy a vacant house before that appointment and open a lockbox. Okay. And if you're going to show properties outside of Solano County, right? Winters, Esparto, Sacramento, your key is not going to open those lockboxes if you don't contact MetroList and co-op your key with MetroList so that it opens those lockboxes. It's like an extra, I don't know, 15 bucks a month or so to co-op your key. You're going to need that to be able to open those lockboxes. The end of the Barry's service area is Solano County. So anytime you go beyond that, your key is not going to work. Let's see, what else do you need? A digital measuring device. Get a tape measure and keep it in your car. It doesn't have to be digital, just a good old fashioned, and not like a 10-foot tape measure, but like a 25-foot one. Because your clients are going to be like those clients that are like, man, I got a boat. I want to park it in the garage. Is this garage big enough? You're going to be like, I don't know, but I have a tape measure. Let's measure it. How big's your boat, right? Or how big's the RV parking? Or will my couch fit? So have a tape measure in your car. In fact, it's kind of nice to have like a little basket of goodies in your car ready to go so that you can service your clients, maybe some water bottles, some snacks, some measuring tape, just some random things like that, a couple pens, things that might come in handy as you're out showing properties. Once you get through 2 or 3 houses, it's kind of nice to be like, hey, do you need some water or would you like a snack? So it's nice to have those things in your car ready to go so you can offer those things to your clients, keep them going. You're probably gonna want some note cards and envelopes. It's nice to send thank you cards. It's nice to send, hey, it was great talking with you cards. They don't have to be expensive. You can go to the dollar store, you can go to Hobby Lobby. Michael's puts like packs of cards on sale on a regular basis, or like $15 for 100 cards and envelopes that are brightly colored. Get something, and also with that, make sure you have a roll of stamps, because you can't send cards without stamps. Oh, look, stamps are on there. The next one, a printer, scanner, copier. The office has a printer, scanner, copier. So as long as you have access to the office, you don't necessarily have to have your own printer, because you can print at the office. Make sure your computer is set up to print, because the second it's not, you'll get that client that's like, oh, I only want to sign things in person instead of digitally. And then you'll be like, sorry, I can't print it. So make sure your printer works. Go run some couple test prints over there at the office, or have your own printer. And make sure you have a scanner app on your phone, and not like a police scanner app, but like a document scanner app. There's a bunch of them out there. They're free. It allows you to take your phone, put it over the piece of paper. It basically takes a picture of it and it converts it to a PDF document. It's fabulous. It's amazing. Have one, because it allows you to scan documents in your car and send them off to whoever they need to go with.
Just a little note on that too. If you can't find the proper app, the iPhone Notes app does that as well, and you can save them right from there.
There you go. If you have the iPhone, then the Notes app will now do that as well. See, you learn something new in technology every day. Didn't we just talk about that like 3 slides ago? Make sure you've got internet access. Faster is optimal, but anything will work as long as it's not dial up. Even that you can get by with. It says passenger vehicle with air conditioning and good running condition. I honestly don't recommend putting clients in your car. It's an increased liability. It's just not, I wouldn't recommend it. They can drive their own car. You guys can caravan from property to property. It's just a better option. Unless they're like friends and family, then feel free to throw them in your car. That's just my personal opinion. You guys are welcome to cart your clients around. Just make sure that your insurance is set up to cover them in the case that you're ever in an accident. And then a separate business checking and savings account. Don't use your personal for both. I do highly recommend that you have a separate checking and savings account for any business related activity. It's going to make it a lot easier to track your expenses and your income if you have those accounts separate, because you know everything that came out of that account is all your business expenses, and put all your business expenses out of that account. Super simple, because remember, we are independent contractors and we're looking to be business owners, and we now have to file a self-employed tax return, and we have different write-offs and different things we have to track, and we want to make sure we're tracking those from the beginning. I also highly recommend that you make some phone calls and you connect with a good CPA who knows real estate and works with real estate agents, so that you can sit down and have a conversation with them about what types of things you should be tracking and savings, and what kind of things you can write off. Okay. I am not a tax expert, so talk with somebody who is. Any questions about setting yourself up for success? One thing that I skipped over was a name tag. Get a name tag. It's a good conversation piece. Put it on upside down. Do you know how many people you'll talk to, or you're walking through a store that's like, oh, did you know your name tag's on upside down? And you'll be like, oh my gosh, thank you for pointing that out. I really appreciate it, right? And now we've opened the door for communication, especially if you're someone that has problems starting communication. Okay. Any questions?
No, but that is hilarious. Just had to say it.
It works, I promise. Try it. All right. It is 5 o'clock. How long did you guys want to go today? Are we good to keep going? Do you want to stop or continue this next week?
Let's push on. Let's finish it.
I
Anastasia
have like
says
15 more minutes that I can stay
Melanie
on.
has 15 more minutes. I'm also recording it, so we will post the
Okay.
recording as well.
Yeah, like 15 minutes.
All right.
I think
So
this
let's-
is an excellent training. I am so glad that you are doing this.
Good, thank you. I'm trying to, I have a hard time just glossing over everything. So, it takes a little while to get through 37 slides of information. We may not make it, guys. We may not make it, but we'll press on for a little bit longer. All right. Know your market, right? So we've talked about what you should have for success. Make sure you've got that basket in your car. We kind of touched on that with some snacks and pens, maybe put some business cards in there. Maybe put a couple copies of the contracts in there, like a purchase agreement or a listing agreement in case you randomly run into somebody. And they're like, man, can I go see that property? It's actually happened to me. I've shown a property to one of my clients and then they were leaving and I was like locking up and somebody drove up and they're like, oh man, can we see this property? We were driving by and saw it was for sale. Number one, there's a whole safety issue there. But number two is they wanted to write an offer on it. And they didn't have an agent. So it was a win. And so just make sure you've got some copies of documents with you, maybe like a pre-listing packet or a buyer consultation packet in that basket in your car. Make sure you've got it with you at all times so that you're ready to sit down with somebody and have those conversations. In addition to that, know your market. Okay. You want to set yourself up for success and you want to know the inventory in the area in which you service. No, you don't have to go walk through 50 listings a day. Okay, there's not even that many. If you walk through 50 listings a day, you'd be done in like 4 days anyways. But know what's coming on the market. There's a way in Barry's that you can set up your 24-hour market watch. I'm actually going to host a training on this. I'm going to do some bonus trainings because it's just not covered inside of RevUp, and it's things that you guys should know, like setting up the 24-hour market watch and doing some other things inside of Barry's that you guys will find really helpful. Set up your 24-hour market watch to show you the new properties coming back on market, price reductions in the area in which you do the majority of your business. That way, every morning, all you have to do is get up, open up Barry's when it's scheduled on your calendar, log in, click on new listings that have popped up in the last 24 hours and look at the new inventory that's come on the market, scroll through them. What has pools? What size are they? Are there any on big lots, small lots? What's come back on the market and what has price reductions? Number one, this would make it really easy that if you've got clients looking for property that now you can text them and be like, hey, did you see that new listing that just popped up on this address? I think it matches your criteria. Or when you're talking with somebody on the phone or at an open house with somebody and they're like, man, this is nice, but I was really looking for a 4-bedroom house and this one only has 3 bedrooms. You can be like, oh, did you see that new 4-bedroom home that just popped up for sale around the corner? It's actually in the very same condition as this one, but it has that 4th bedroom, so it's a little bit larger. It was priced at this, right? Know your market so that you're the expert of the area. You don't have to physically preview them, but I would go through every day. I would go through the new properties on market, the price reductions, and the back on market properties so that you know what's on the market in the area in which you service. Okay. I do recommend that, especially as a new agent, that you do set aside a day to go through some properties, go see what properties look like in each of these different areas, neighborhoods, different things. Going through open houses is a great way to do that. Look and see what's being, if you're not holding houses open on Saturday, see what other homes are being held open. Go through, meet the other agents, have a conversation with them and start building relationships with other agents, because this industry isn't just about the relationship that you have with your client. It's about the relationship that you have with the other agents. It's about being able to call up that agent and being like, hey, Melanie, I saw that you just had a house hit the market. What are your clients looking for? And what do we need to do in order to get that property for my clients? Being able to have those conversations, or if there's multiple offers that have come in on a property that we're not seeing as much, but you still are seeing it, that agent, Heather's going to call me and be like, hey, Amy, I know you submitted an offer on my property, but I really need your clients just to be up a little bit higher because we've got 2 other offers that are higher than yours or have better terms than yours. Can you make these changes? Because I'd much rather work with you. Start building those relationships now with those other agents. So previewing properties through open houses is a great way not only to see the layouts and floor plans of properties in different neighborhoods, but it's a great way to start building those relationships with other agents. Okay. Does everybody have their app on their phone? Yes, no. It should be no. Maciel, is that a no?
Yes.
All right. Make sure you have the app. You can go, there's the website. It's the app.realtyoneGroup.com/one zone, and then your username that you would log
I
in.
do. I just had to update it. My bad.
Fabulous. It is an app. You can use it anywhere. I'm in North Idaho, in case you're wondering, where are you, Amy? It's pitch black outside at 4:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, I'm in North Idaho. We have like 8 hours of daylight. It's really sad right now. But I can pull up the Realty One app and look at properties here. So your clients can search properties anywhere. So you can share it with your friends, family, whoever, anywhere in the United States. They can use it to search properties, and it's branded to you. Okay, it's really easy to share the app. If you share the app from the app, then it automatically brands it to whoever adds it to their phone. Like I shared it with my daughter last night, and when she opened it up, it was already branded to me. So if you share it from the app to somebody else, it's going to brand it to you. Okay, so make sure you share the app. You can use it to help lead generate. You can, if you're having a conversation with somebody, this is a good way to be like, oh, actually, I can send you my app and it'll help you search homes. It'll show you all the active inventory in your area right now. What's your phone number? Right? Oh, look, oh my gosh, we just traded value for value. I got their phone number and I'm giving them an app. Now they're going to stop using Zillow and they're going to use the app that has like contact agent button that calls me. Super cool, right? Anybody have questions about sharing your app or downloading your app? All right. Identifying your strengths, inventory with any job, business, any role that you have, you know, in your household, it really doesn't matter. You should know what your strengths are and identify what you enjoy doing and what you don't enjoy doing. Okay, some things that we don't like to do, we're going to have to do anyways, but sometimes we can eliminate those, especially as we start looking at like lead gen activities and things that you can do. Prospecting, you don't have to do all 50. You can do the things that you enjoy doing. So what types of activities do you enjoy doing? So you want to make sure you list your past jobs, right? And roles that you were hired. What did you enjoy about those? What did you not enjoy about those? Are there any patterns? So this is going to help you just kind of be able to set your business up for success. And then, as we've talked about multiple times, you want to make sure you run your business like a business. Okay. Don't think of yourself as an independent contractor. Think of yourself as a business owner and run your business that way. Okay. We want to build a business that adds value to your life and allows you to create a life that you enjoy living. Okay. A life that gives you time off, that gives you vacations, that allows you to buy the cars that you want, that allows you to buy horses, that allows you to do the things that you enjoy doing. I enjoy real estate. I enjoy selling homes. I enjoy teaching about real estate more than I actually enjoy doing it. But I enjoy walking through properties and looking at homes. And I enjoy seeing clients change their lives because they bought their first home or they were able to buy their dream home, right? So those type of things are cool. But ultimately, I'm in this business in order to fund my life and in order to fund my perfect life. And so I want to keep that in mind at where I'm headed and what I want this business to be able to do for me. And that I don't want to be working 24/7. That I want to have free time and I want to have time with my family. When I first got started in this business, my schedule was, I worked from 8 a.m. basically when I dropped the kids off to school until 3 o'clock when I picked them up. And then from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I was there for my family. I was there to do homework, dinner, whatever needed to be done for those 4 hours. And then I would come back at the end of the night after I put the kids to bed and work a little bit more doing those things. So it's okay to do that. And it's okay to structure your day that way. That's one of the joys of being a business owner, is that you can structure your day how you want it to look. Okay. So let's figure out what that looks like for you and what you need and what you want to do. So one of the things, in addition to, you're going to come up with a daily affirmation for this next week. I also want you to sit down and figure out, what is your end goal with real estate? Is it just to pay your bills? Is it extra money so you can go on vacation? Is it something that you want to be able to hand off and pass down the road? Is it you want to build an empire? Like, what's your goal and what does that look like? Spend some time really thinking in on that and focused in on that. We're gonna come back and revisit this business plan. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna redirect you to this business plan portion. I know that Ed taught on it like a couple weeks ago, and I know he's gonna do another session on it here coming up. And I feel like this is a much more in-depth conversation than just glossing over it today. I can't do it. So you want to have a written business plan because you're a business owner. You want to make sure that you create clearly defined goals in all areas of your life, that everything's measurable and trackable, and that you know what the result looks like, and that you have a budget. Now, that being said, hold on just a second. Oops. All right, hold on. I'm going to, okay, I have a YouTube channel. And you should still be able to see it. It's called Real Estate According to Amy. And on here, there is a playlist. And I can do a class on this as well, but I think Ed's going to do a business planning clinic again. So if he doesn't do it via Zoom, let me know and I'll do a separate one so that everybody can join via Zoom. There is this Kickstart series right here. If you go to playlist, oops, we don't want to play all. View full playlist. If you go to the Kickstart series, there is defining your values and uncovering your why. This is the first step in your business plan, is you have to know why you're doing this business, right? We kind of just touched on this a little bit, but it's deeper than uncovering your why. It comes down to your values and what you feel is important to you, which varies for each person. So there's a 25-minute lesson on here that talks about your values and uncovering your why. And then we need to dig into your goals of what you're hoping to accomplish. And then there's a business plan that you're going to put together. So there's 3 classes here. It's going to take you an hour and a half if you dig into them. I just recorded these like in the last month. So I highly recommend that you hop over to this and that you watch those 3 classes to put together your business plan, because they're really in depth and it walks you through the process step by step. And I believe that there are some tools in there, but if the tools aren't attached to them, I think it's in the comments section. Let me know. And if you need, like, I have a really in-depth business plan. We talk about the GPS, which is goals, priorities, strategies. And it feels a little overwhelming when you first start to put it together, but I can walk you guys through that process, and that training does it. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Now I just have to figure out how to get back to, that's not it. Hold on. Nope. I'm never going to get back to it. Nope. I was trying to get back to the presentation, but now it's gone. Gone forever.
You're there, Amy, but it's just small.
Yeah, but it should look different.
Oh.
Here, let's do this. There we go. We're back. Kind of, almost. All right. See, there's so much information in this training. I feel a little overwhelmed. I hope you guys aren't feeling as overwhelmed as I do. But it is so much information. So this is being recorded and you'll be able to rewatch it multiple times, and we'll retouch on a lot of this stuff as we cover future lessons. But you want to make sure that you start creating your team of people. And by your team of people, I'm not like build your business and get a buyer's agent and get an admin and go get a showing assistant. That's not what I'm talking about right here. I'm talking about in transaction number 1, you're going to have a team. You're going to have a lender. You're going to have an agent on the other side. You're going to have an escrow company. The title and escrow are the same. You are going to have a home inspector if you're representing a buyer, maybe a pest inspector. So start building those relationships now. Ask other agents in the office, like, hey, who do you use for inspections? What type of inspections should I be aware of? Who do you use? What are those companies? Call them up. Ask them to send you over copies of example reports. What does the report look like? Home inspection companies, they don't have like one report. So every company's report looks a little different than somebody else's. So talk with them. What's their pricing? Send them over a copy of the report. Look through the report. Is it easy to read? Is it easy to follow? Does it sound scary? What do you need to know? Same thing with pest companies, pool inspections, right? Any part of the property could be inspected. Start building those relationships now. Start talking to title companies. Start talking to lenders. Who are you going to refer to your clients for lenders? We usually recommend that you refer at least 3 lenders to your clients. We always put our favorite on the top, but we always refer more than one option to them. So who are we going to refer? And if we're referring a lender to our clients, what are they offering us in return, right? It should be a mutually beneficial relationship with anybody that we're partnering with as part of our team. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so here's a list, right? You've got all the agents at Realty One. You can always depend on them to answer questions. We want to make sure we've got lenders, title and escrow, home inspection, home warranty, home repair, right? Contractors, lawn care, pool care, spa care, transaction coordinator. We have an in-house transaction coordinator, which makes it easy. So start building that list of potential candidates for your team as far as those third-party companies go, so that you can start having conversations with them and decide who you're going to utilize and who you're going to refer out. Smart goal setting. Your goals, just so you know, anytime you set a goal, it should be specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and timely. That means that it should be specific, not I want to sell houses. It's I want to sell 5 houses, or I want to, right? Whatever that is, it's going to be specific. It's going to be measurable. I want to sell 5 houses. Is that measurable? Do we know when we've sold 5 houses? Yes. Is it obtainable? Is it my first year in real estate and I said, I want to sell 107 houses? Is that obtainable in your first year in real estate? Maybe, and probably not. Okay.
And I'm doing it wrong.
You could. There are people that have done it. However, for the average agent, I would say somewhere around like 6 to 12, maybe 18, right? It's all on how hard you want to work. Is it relevant, right? Is it relevant? I want to sell 5 houses. That's pretty relevant to what we're doing. And timely. I want to sell 5 houses by when? Is it I want to sell 5 houses by June of 2023? Is it I want to be a millionaire by December of 2025, right? What's your goal? And then make sure it's timely. That's how you set goals. They have to be SMART goals. This big picture is going to talk more about like your values and your whys. If you watch that other training, it'll dig into this. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? So, right, in order to, there's, you need to draw a solid picture of where you want to be. And I would look at it like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What do you want your life to look like? This is a good, like your meditation tomorrow morning, where we said you set aside time to get your mind right and like really visualize and meditate. And it doesn't have to be religious. Tomorrow, during your time of meditation and reflection, you could sit down and really focus in on what do I want my life to look like in 10 years? And then you can back that up and what is it going to take to get there this year so that I'm where I want to be in 10 years, right? Step it back. As a real estate agent and a business owner, we talked about this a little bit, that it's important to have a separate bank account so you can track those expenses and your income appropriately. I highly recommend starting right and having what we call a profit and loss statement, right? We put all the income earned, we put all the expenses out on a monthly basis, and what our profit or loss is at the end of the month. And then we track that through the full year so that you can see exactly and have a good handle on what you have coming in and what you have going out. to make sure that you're leading with revenue and only spending money that you have coming in is the goal. Now, I understand with real estate that there is some money that has to go out at the beginning in order to just get started, to get our license, to get set up with the MLS, to get started with Realty One, to get, signed up with Barry's, to co-op our keys so we can actually open doors in Metro List zone, right? There's those things that have to happen. But when you're weighing your options of, do I go spend money on a contact relationship manager, a CRM, or do I use the one that I have free through Realty One Group? You're going to be like, well, for now I'm using the free one because I don't have money to spend on that until I have a closing. So I really like that nice fancy one that has all the bells and whistles. That's, $500 a month, but free is good for now, right? So we're going to weigh our option and lead with revenue. So this has to do with planning and your goal. You want to sit down. When you do your goal setting, which you'll talk about in that video though, when you look at your goal for this next year or for whatever the time period is, we don't want to just be like, I'm going to make $100,000. And you're gonna be like, why? You're like, I don't know. It's a number. I pulled it out of my hat, right? It has no value to you. So make sure your goals have value. Make sure they're relevant, right? That's what that means in that SMART goals when it gets to the R for relevant. Make sure it's relevant to you. So this is a good thing, like, hey, what are my personal expenses? Annual total, and you're gonna put that in there. Do I want to go on vacation this year? Where do I want to go? How many vacations do I want to take? How expensive is that going to be? Put a number there. How much do I want my savings account at the end of the year? Do you have debt you need to pay off? How much debt do you want to pay off? What are my projected business expenses? Right? So you're going to put all those numbers down. That's going to be how you come up with your goal of what you want to make this next year, or what you want to make over the next few years, to figure out how many houses you need to sell in order to get there. Okay, but it needs to be relevant to you. So don't just pick a number out of a hat. Actually take specific numbers that mean something to you, that's going to be on your vision board, that's going to help you pay your bills on a monthly basis, whatever that is, that's going to get you where you want to be, and total up those numbers to get what your profit needs to be, your net profit at the end of the year. Questions about that? All right, once you have that number, we're going to figure out how many transactions you need in order to reach your goal. Now, we did add business expenses back in. So you saw here on this list, it did have business expenses. And then you're going to divide. So it has you total everything up and then divide by 25% for your tax liability to get your income goal. So you want to add your taxes back in there. Because remember, we aren't W-2 anymore. They're not going to take our taxes out of our check. At the end of the year, we're going to file our taxes. At the beginning of the year, we're going to file our taxes. And the tax man's going to be like, you owe me all this money because you made all this money. And it's going to seem really scary if we don't set money aside for that. So from each closing, you need to set aside at least 25% of the check, if not 30% of the check, into an account for taxes. Can anybody tell me what I just said?
We have to do our own taxes, put at least 25%, if not more, away to pay your taxes in a separate account.
Thank you, Bradley, for listening. That's going to be the most important thing besides lead gen that you learn about all day. Please set aside money for taxes. Please
Put
don't
it
get
in a separate bank away
put it
from your normal
separate, so
bank.
you can't touch it. You don't see it. It just goes away so that it's there waiting for you when the tax man says it's time to pay your tax bill. Because otherwise you're going to get your tax bill and you're going to get scared and you're going to run away. And then the IRS is going to chase you down and throw you in jail. Okay, maybe not that scary, but it could be. So make sure you set that in here. So this is going to add that back in and give you your income goal. Then you're going to take that income goal and you're going to figure out what's the average sales price in my area. I'm always conservative on this number. So I'm going to say, hey, the average sales price in Solano County is $550,000. Okay. It's actually a little higher than that, but that's okay. I like to be conservative. What is the average commission per side? I'm going to say 2.5%. If it's a listing, more than that, but if it's a buy side, the average commission right now is 2.5%. So I'm going to factor everything on 2.5%. So if we take 550,000 times 2.5%, our average commission per side is $13,750. And if on my last page, I found out that I need to make 175,000, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take 175,000, you're gonna divide it by 13,750, and that's gonna tell you need to close 13 transactions in order to make that money. That's gonna cover your business expenses, your personal expenses, and your taxes, along with all those bonus things that you wanted to do for the year. Okay, super simple calculation, not hard. Everybody get that? So you're probably not gonna do this right now because you probably don't know exactly what you need to earn this next year to set your goal. So you might want to spend some time thinking about that, pondering that. You may even, if you have a significant other, you may even want to have time to sit down and like dream with your significant other about where you want to go for vacation this next year, what you want to do. Okay. We're not going to go over this right now. We're going to keep skipping ahead. Planning and tracking. We want to make sure that we have a plan of what we're going to do to get us from where we are right now to where we want to be. And we want to draw that map out. And then we're going to track our progress along the way. We're going to track how many contacts we make, how many phone calls we make, how many doors we knock, how many hours we spend at open houses, how many contacts result from that, how many people we have to talk to set up a listing appointment or a buyer consultation, how many buyer consultations we have to sit through in order to get somebody to sign a buyer representation agreement, how many of those buyers we're going to represent in order to get a contract in escrow, and then how many escrows it takes to get a closed transaction, right? And same thing on the listing side. So we're going to track those numbers. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I just got overwhelmed, it's okay. We'll cover that more later, I promise. But we're going to track it all because we want to know that what we're doing is making a difference and that it's leading to success. So if we're spending 3 hours a weekend in an open house and we're not getting any leads from that, number one, we probably need to talk about the process and what we're doing in scripts and how we're having those conversations. But number two, we may decide that, hey, open houses are not your thing and we need to stop spending time. We need to stop wasting our time on the weekends doing open houses when we could spend that 3 hours doing something else that is generating leads. Okay, so there's never one right answer. We always want to kind of reevaluate though every couple of months so that we can make those course corrections for those things that aren't panning out. Okay, it is 5:30. So we're going to pick this up next week. We're going to talk about time blocking. So you're going to have to survive a whole nother week without time blocking. We're going to talk about, let's see what else is on. We talked about accountability. We're going to talk about time blocking and lead gen next week. And we may even dive into the GPS more in depth next week as well. So time blocking, goal setting, and prospecting. Is that fair to everybody?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Amy.
Okay, now, between now and then.
I would
here's
be
what I
sorry
would
to
recommend.
interrupt. I don't know who's asking for the attendance. I don't know what link that is. Was that you, Amy?
That is probably my handy dandy assistant, Abby. So is
Okay,
that in the chat box?
it
Yeah,
was.
the link says we need permission, Abby.
All right. Abby, if you could go ahead and change the permission to that anybody with the link has access, that would be fabulous. All right, so everybody hang out for a few more seconds. Oh, she's doing it right now. Fabulous. All right. This next week, here's what I recommend doing. RevUp has their one habit, which is 6 notes, 3 ads, and 3 calls on a daily basis. I'm going to challenge you that we have on a daily basis, 5 days a week, that we have 10 conversations about real estate, right? 10 conversations about real estate. That's calling 10 people in your database, talking with 10 people, running into 10 people in the grocery store. I don't really care. Have 10 conversations about real estate, and that you're going to add 10 people to your database. And if you're like, Amy, I don't have a database, make a spreadsheet. All right, the links back up if you want to click on that. but you are going to add 10 people to your database each and every day. So by the end of this week, you should have 50. By the time we meet next week, you should have 50 people in your database. They might be the same 10 people that you talk with on a daily basis. They may not be in your database, so we want to add them in. If they're already in your database, then you need to find somebody else to add. So that would be your lead generation. To add a lead to your database, it should have a name and a way to contact them. If they have no way to contact them, then they are not a lead because we can't contact them. So to add them to your database, and you have a database through the Realty One group, or you might just have a spreadsheet or a piece of paper for now. I don't care how you want to keep your contacts, just keep them organized. Please don't have them on individual sheets of paper. You will lose them all and they will never make it into a system. So either write them down on a list, have a spreadsheet, or put them into the free CRM offered through Realty One. Does anybody have questions about those two things? 10 conversations, 10 contacts on a day.
No, ma'am.
Okay, the other thing that I want you doing is previewing those homes on a daily basis in berries in the areas that you're serviced, the new homes on market, the back on market, and the price reductions, so that you know the inventory and what's on the market. Does that make sense to everybody? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So perfect. Does anybody have any questions before we finish up today?
No questions. I have a little selfless plug real quick. If anyone is living in the Vacaville area, December 17th, you guys may have seen it on the Realty One group page on Facebook, but I am doing a car show toy drive in town. We're gonna have taco trucks out there, games for the kids. My mom's bringing her 3 dogs, so dog friendly, kid friendly. Bring out the family, maybe donate a couple toys. So I'm gonna post it here in
Rain
the
or
next-
shine.
Rain or shine, the parking lot we're having it in does have cover. So we will be able to hide underneath things if we have to. But hoping that we're all good and planning to make it a great day.
So
Saturday,
go,
what's your
this is a
number?
great event to invite your clients to connect with them while they're there, right? We've got a fabulous event. We're helping the community. You're helping a fellow real estate agent that's part of our Realty One group family. So go support Bradley in his car show, go check out the cars, invite people there, connect with your clients and people. It's a good way to make those 10 calls a day this week, is be like, hey, we're doing a car show. You should come and show up. I'm going to be there. Right?
And bring the
What's
free,
your phone
and bring a
number?
toy.
Bring a toy.
Did you say my phone number?
Yeah. So I
I'll
can-
type it into the chat right
Okay.
now. So if anyone has any
Perfect.
questions, shoot me a text.
Thank you. Thanks, Amy.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. Fabulous. I will see you all next week at 4 o'clock. I think we'll probably make it this 4 to 5:30 mark. We'll try to wrap up everything at 5:30. And it'll be the same link. So it's the same link every week for this. So if you save that to your calendar, you'll be good to go.
Sounds good.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining me today. It was really fun.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.